Hey everybody, this is Praxis. In this video I'm talking about DeWalt FlexVolt batteries, like the type you might use to run a DeWalt electric chainsaw. I've got one of those chainsaws and I really love it, but the one thing I don't love about it is the cost of the batteries. These things can be really expensive. Fortunately, there are companies that make knockoff brands, and that's what I'm talking about in this video. These knockoff brands, are they just as good as the DeWalt originals? I'm going to give you a spoiler right off the bat. Based on the tests that I'm going to share with you in this video, I'm going to stick with DeWalt personally, but if you want to get a little bit more into it than that, I tested out a lot of brands. Some of them were kind of mediocre, some of them were sort of okay, and some of them were downright terrible. If you want to get the specifics, stick around. Hey everybody, this is Praxis. In this video, I'm going to be testing out some different batteries that I've got in this little Easter basket here that are all allegedly designed to run the DeWalt 60-volt chainsaw. I've had this for, I think a little bit over a year at this point. I really like this. I've had other electric chainsaws in the past that were like, yeah, okay. I've had gas chainsaws in the past that were, yeah, okay. This one, I got no problems with this one. This one works really well, especially if you've got a really nice sharp blade on it. This can eat through trees very easily. In fact, the only thing that I don't like about this chainsaw is the cost of the batteries. Buying one 12 amp hour battery is like $250. Like I guess it's going to be a durability test of the DeWalt battery platform also. So, but you know, I mean, they should be manufactured to be capable of handling a fall like that. So, well, I guess we'll find out in this video. But it's very expensive. You know, you buy the chainsaw and it's like about $250, and then the batteries are about as much as the chainsaw itself. It's kind of like when you buy you know, a printer, and then it's like they really get you on the ink later. They really get you on the batteries. So when I was approached by a company, Vanin batteries, they're written right here on my shirt, asking me if I'd like to review some of their batteries that are allegedly compatible with the DeWalt chainsaw. I was really interested in that, both for myself, because I could save a whole bunch of money, because I'd love to have a lot of these batteries. You know, if you're going to get a chainsaw, you really want to have at least 2 or 3 batteries, so you can kind of cycle through them while you're working, so some can be on chargers while you're, you know, you're still cutting. So I was really excited for my own benefit that there might be some batteries that are a lot cheaper that I could use on this tool, and also, obviously, to be able to share with you guys. So I've got the Vanin battery platform that we're going to be testing today, and I also have the Simple Plus battery that we're going to be testing today. Now, all of these have been freshly topped off. I don't know if you can see that, but all the LED lights are all on there. They're all been freshly topped off, but we've got a little bit of apples to oranges here. As you can see on my shirt here, I've already got some marks. This is not the first time that I did this video. I shot this video earlier in the summer, and the batteries that I got from Vanin, I'm not going to put an adjective in here, but the experience of using them was that I had a DeWalt battery and it was cutting. I made 4 cuts with the DeWalt battery, and I was only able to barely squeeze out 1 cut with the Vanin battery, you know, cutting on the same piece of wood. I was kind of going back and forth. I was also testing out the Simple Plus battery platform, and it wasn't able to make a single cut. So I contacted Vanin about that, and I contacted Simple Plus. They gave me a full refund on all their batteries, and it's funny, the Simple Plus people, I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but the customer support person that I talked to said, yeah, I know our batteries aren't the best. It's like, you know, you rarely hear that kind of honesty from a company. Anyway, you know, I bought the batteries and they refunded me entirely, but I'm still going to test them out because I used these a couple times and they did work, and then I tried them during the test and they didn't work. Reliability obviously is something that's important. You can't have like a tool that like only sometimes works great. So, you know, the consistency is important, but I figured I'd bring it out again. They're all freshly charged. We're going to try it all again. Now, I mentioned this isn't apples to apples entirely. I said that the base kind of battery you would want if you had this is a 12 amp hour battery. That's what I have for this unit here. And that's what Vanin sent me initially, is 12 amp hour batteries. That didn't work. When they sent me the new battery to replace the ones that weren't working, they sent me a 9 amp hour battery, which makes it kind of difficult for me because I have a 12 amp hour battery for this, and I happen to have the one I just dropped on the ground, a 6 amp hour battery for the made by DeWalt. But I don't have another 9, so I can't do an apples to apples comparison. but I'm going to compare the Vanon 9 against the DeWalt 6 because the Vanon 9 is still less expensive than the DeWalt 6. So if this thing can at least perform as well as a 6, if their 9 is at least as good as a 6, you're still going to save money there. The Simple Plus battery I have here is allegedly a 12 amp hour battery, but last time it was kind of like a 0 amp hour battery. So we're going to head out into the woods, and what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to just use the same t-shirt, but this time I'm going to be making red marks, and I'm going to make a cut with the DeWalt, I'm going to make a cut with the Vanon, and I'm going to make a cut with the Simple Plus, and we're just going to kind of go across and we'll just see who dies first. And in that way, it's going to be the best comparison between all the different batteries because we're going to be cutting through like the same type of wood. It's not like we use the Vanon on like a certain type of the tree where it's softer, and then the DeWalt's on another part of the tree where it's it's a little bit tougher or something like that. We're going to just be alternating right through it, so we'll get the best kind of apples to apples comparison, at least in terms of the wood that they're cutting through. But in terms of the batteries themselves, this is a 6, this is a 12, and this is a 9. So we're going to have to keep that in mind. Let's head out into the woods. Okay, so here we are out in the woods. We're going to be cutting through this tree here. This, I think it might be a beech tree. I'm not 100% certain. I'm not really good at trees. I know little plants and things like that, but trees themselves I'm not good at identifying. But it's a fairly hardwood, I would say. I cut it down because it was a dead tree, which was it was a potential risk of it blowing over and hitting our house, so it seemed like a good one to take down. And you can see that I have a couple logs that I already cut last time. These were from the previous experiment here, and 4 of these are from the DeWalt battery, and one of them was squeezed out with the Vanon battery. So I'm going to continue on with this one. It's only about 5 inches wide here, so, and it's it's pretty easy to work with. And then we'll go on to this the larger tree if the batteries can survive that long. So I'm going to start with the DeWalt, then Vanon, then Simple Plus. So DeWalt 6 volt, and we'll see if me dropping it had any impact. Pun intended. All right, here we go. It's freshly oiled. In terms of safety, I'm not wearing safety glasses, I'm not wearing chaps, and I'm not wearing gloves. The big safety thing that I do when I cut with the chainsaw is I just try to stay out of line with the blade, so if the blade ever broke and it swings around, I don't have like a leg right under there for the chain to kind of go and grab and rip open arteries. There are other safeties that I could be performing here, but I'm just not doing them. Honest to God, if you want the most safe setup when using a chainsaw, you should hire someone else to do it, because no matter what you do, there's some level of risk. I'm assuming a little bit more today because that's just the way that I do it. If you want to be absolutely safe with a chainsaw, don't even pick it up. Okay, here we go. And I wedge myself in here. All right. Starts up, good sign. Simple Plus wouldn't even do that last time. Here we go. All right, so you can see what I mean. It eats through wood pretty well. That's one cut with the DeWalt, and I'll pull that out. Where'd my pen go? Oh man. Okay, I couldn't find my red pen, so I got a green pen instead. I've struck through the old test, and we're going to start a new test here. So DeWalt, just got 1. And next we're going to put in the Vanon. The other benefit of cycling through the batteries is that one thing with Vanon is they got to be pushed in a little bit. More firmly, even with the battery charger. It's like it doesn't engage so well. There we go. Okay, it's in. One advantage of cycling through the batteries is if you ever run through batteries, you know that sometimes they can heat up. So cycling through is going to give them all time to kind of cool off, but while the other ones are being used, which will really give you the best sense of how much power you can really drain out of a battery. Because sometimes you'll run the battery for a while and then it won't run a bit, and because it's gotten too warm. And then if you let it sit for a minute or two, you can get a little bit more juice out of it. So this way of testing is really going to maximize making sure we pull out as much as possible out there. Okay, so Vanon battery. Here we go. I'm going to pull this out a little bit. Again, I want to stay out of line of the chain. fine. Okay, good. That is not disappointing. All right, so 1. You know, during the first test, it was hard to even pull that first cut out. All right, and now we're going to go for the Simple Plus, which is another discount brand. And they've engaged. Similar results to last time. Okay, so Simple Plus, it's still not working. So I'll probably just disassemble these. There's probably like 18650 batteries in there. You can disassemble them and take some of the batteries out. All right, so it's between Vanon and DeWalt. And remember, the DeWalt is a 6 amp hour battery and the Vanon is a 9. So I'm hoping we'll get at least the same amount out, because if Vanon can make a decent battery and save us some money, that's a good thing. All right, so we're going to continue with this. I'm going to move this around. I'll do it right in front here. Do it from the bottom. Here we go. Whew. All right, that's another DeWalt. I need an assistant to write on my shirt here. Okay, DeWalt right there, 2. And now Vanon. Yeah. That is a little bit of a downside with the Vanons in terms of them being a little harder to push in there. But, you know, if you can save hundreds of dollars, you know, suck it up, Buttercup. Here we go. All right, cool. You know, I want to move on to some bigger logs. So I don't want this test to take all day. So let's start really trying to tire these guys out. All right. All right. Back to the DeWalt. I'm gonna pop to the other side here. And I think we'll cut over here. There we go. Okay, cool. So that's another good DeWalt cut. So that's 3 for DeWalt so far. Let's get Vanon in here. Now the only downside of the Vanon so far is just the fact that it's a little bit stickier to push in there. But you know, if you're going to use the thing, you're not going to be pulling it in and out a bunch of times. All right. I'm just going to show you the back for a little bit so I can just get a cut here. Here we go. Alright, cool. Another Vanon. Awesome. This is going so much better than the first test. I was disappointed during the first test because I wanted the battery to do well, because it's nice if you have a low-cost alternative. We'll see though. I mean, still, they've only made 3 cuts so far. Alright, get out of my way. Here we go. I'm cutting these a little bit short here, just for convenience. Here we go. All right, and that's another DeWalt. All right, and now a Vanon. I wish the Simple Plus batteries worked, but you know, if the Vanons work, that's all you need is just one off-market brand. All right, here we go. Yeah. You can see what I mean about the DeWalt chainsaw. It eats right through it. This is hard wood. It's not pine or anything. Again, I think it might be beech. I'm not sure. All right. So that's 4 for everybody so far. And back to DeWalt. And the tree's getting a little thicker as we go, so it's getting a little bit more challenging with each cut. All right. We honestly got so much firewood here. it's a nice problem to have, but just with the stuff that's kind of on the ground around here, I've probably got 2 more years worth of firewood before I even have to fell another tree. Oh, come on! I was thinking maybe this would get easier. Yeah, maybe a little bit. All right. Next spring, we're just going to be coming around cleaning up all this kind of stuff. All right, there's a rock under here. I don't want to hit the rock, so here we go. All right, there we go. And that's another vannon. And I think we got to change location maybe. Or you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to continue to cut. I mean, you don't have to see the whole thing, and I'll report back to you at the end how they did. Okay, and I've got the final results of the test. At the end of the testing period, the vannon battery was able to get 13 cuts out of the logs, and the DeWalt battery was able to get 17 cuts out of the log. Now I went and I looked at the current prices on the batteries, and I essentially just took the price of each battery and then divided that by the number of cuts that you were able to get out of the battery, and that gave you the price per cut per recharge on a battery. And based on that, you get a better value on the DeWalt. I think it was somewhere around $5.80 per cut for each recharge that you do on the battery if you did the DeWalt. And the vannon was somewhere around like $6 and something cents based on how many cuts I was able to get. So from a dollars and cents kind of perspective, the amount of money that you invest into a DeWalt battery per dollar that you spend is going to give you more cuts with each recharge than is the case with a vannon battery. So, just based on that, you kind of get a better value with the DeWalt. I was really hoping that the vannons were going to fare a little bit better, just because, they are a little bit less, they were a little less expensive than the DeWalt batteries. But again, the DeWalt battery that I was testing was a 6 amp hour battery, and it still got 17 cuts versus the vannon 9 amp hour battery, which is 3 more amp hours than 6 amp hours. That one only did 13. So even though the vannon battery allegedly had more amp hours in it, I was only able to get 13 cuts versus the 17 cuts that I was able to get with the DeWalt. Now, of course, both of them did much better than the Simple Plus battery, which even though it's still 100% charged, can't even turn the saw on. Now, I was able to get a refund on this, and I felt good about that. That's the thing, is if you are going to test your feet into the waters and you want to try some of these batteries, don't just buy them and put them away somewhere thinking you're going to use them later. Get them and use them exhaustively before the warranty period on them runs out, because you want to know whether you have a good one or a bad one. I had gotten some vannons earlier, and they were nowhere near as good. Actually, this is one of the older ones. They were nowhere near as good as the second vannon that they ended up sending me later. So, whatever you end up doing, whether you buy a DeWalt or whether you get a vannon or a Simple Plus or any of the other types of generics that are out there, definitely as soon as you get it, really try to put it through its paces and make sure that it works, so that if it has like a 30-day return policy, you can find out before day 30 whether you might want to return it, because, well, at least with the case of Simple Plus, they had a pretty good return policy. They gave me my money back on it. All I did was just record a video showing that it was full and it wouldn't turn the chainsaw on, and they gave me my money back on it. So it might be worth it to you to kind of experiment and try to find some brand that's out there that can allow you to save some money on DeWalt. If you have a recommendation on a good generic brand, definitely put it down in the link. The comments below, because I'd love to hear about it. Because again, the one downside of the DeWalt platform is these batteries, they're really, really expensive. But price per cut, cheaper than the vannons. And way cheaper than the Simple Plus. The price per cut with a Simple Plus is infinity dollars, I guess, if you were to do the math. So you ain't getting no deals with that one. That's it. Hope you found this helpful, and thanks for watching. Hey YouTube preppers, if you enjoyed this video, here's another that I think you might like. But before you click on it, I wanted to take a moment to thank all the people you see on the right-hand side of your screen. They help to support all the work that I do here over at patreon.com. If you'd like to join them and get your name added to the list, the link's below.